Alright, so now, let's get set up and let's go for a review of the game. Alright guys, so let's go over this. What's this spoiler free? I've beaten the game before, so, you know, I didn't really care so much about spoilers, so I will say no, but I have beaten it before in the past, like I said. Music rating. I love the music in this game. Music is probably one of the strongest points of this game. Like, I don't know if I could say that it's like a perfect 10, but I have to give it a 9. It was incredible. It's some of the best music on a PlayStation game. Alright, graphics for the area. This is kind of hit or miss for me. It looks really, really good in this game. It fits this game perfectly. The portraits for the characters and stuff like that are amazing. I kind of wish they were a little bit more integrated into the game than what they are, but some of it repeated so much because we played through all the characters, but there's so many songs in this game. There's like, it's like a 3 or 4 hour OST, so that's pretty long for a PlayStation game. That's pretty good. I'd say the graphics are pretty good for the PlayStation. I was a fan of, like, not all the polygon type stuff, how it still started to keep it with pixels and stuff like that, and that's a lot better. That's what I tend to enjoy more than anything else. So I will say it's probably on Suikoden's level. The artwork and the battle scenes and stuff like that was really good too, but the game wasn't quite as developed as what you would say Suikoden was. Obviously, there was a lot more room for growth in this game, and I just feel like it was kind of released before it got there. So I'm gonna give it a 7, like I did Suikoden. And again, when I'm doing like the graphics for the era rather, I'm trying to do kind of for when that system came out and what was like on that system around the same time that this game came out, and it fits right in there with Suikoden. Alright, story rating. This one's really difficult. The individual character storylines are pretty interesting, and if you really go around and talk to every NPC with every character, you get a lot of story. However, when I am talking about the story, I'm also talking about like the direction of the game and where to go next and things like that. And that's where SaGa Frontier was really, really, really lacking. The game really wants you to go and do everything, every time, on every character. Some people are going to be okay with that. Other people aren't. Other people are going to get bored. Other people are going to get annoyed. Other people aren't going to want to redo the same types of quests over and over again. So for that, it really was lacking off and on. But some of the characters really did stick with me. I still like Azelus's character. T260 scenario is great. Red scenario is really cool. Blue scenario opens up so much in the end. You're going through just collecting magic, and then all of a sudden it's like this actual storyline unfolds. And I think that that's where SaGa really just falters. It's got decent elements to it. It has good story, but you really, really, really have to look for it. You really do. So I'm gonna go again what I did with Suikoden here. I was considering giving it slightly higher, but I'm going to say that this is probably where it was lacking most out of everything. So we're gonna give it a 6. Alright, mechanics of the game. This is another difficult one with this. The mechanics in this game are amazing if you know what the hell you're doing, which I did not. And if anyone does out there, I guarantee you've read something at one point or another to understand this a lot better. It's just so difficult to understand what is going on in the game. Whether you can combo something together, how you're going to learn something, if you're going to gain stats and things like that. How much damage you're going to do with an equipped weapon or switching to something else. What type of stat gains you're going to get from different equipment. Whether what class is better at a certain point. Whether you should start leveling magic and AoE and everything else. This game wants you to... It wants you to experience it on a character. I feel like they kind of planned for you to play as one character and kind of learn the system a little bit. And then each one of the other preceding characters were going to be a little bit more difficult to play. And you needed to have an understanding of like how to do all the quests and stuff like that. And if you could do those things, you could do their scenarios. But more often than not, you like reach this like, you're coasting through the game, you're doing okay, then all of a sudden it's like this brick wall in front of you that you can't do anything to. That it basically wanted you to plan for the entire time. And if you don't know the character scenario, you're not going to plan correctly for anything. Do you need AoE at this point? Well, guess what? You don't have it, you're screwed. You either need to go get a character that has it, you need to go get magic or something like that, or buy weapons that can do that type of stuff. Sometimes it's pretty easy to manage and do those types of things, but other times it's not. So for that, I'm really between a 6 or a 7 with the mechanics here, but I'm gonna go a little bit further and say that I feel like if this game was fleshed out a little bit more, that it would be an incredible battle system that could have been carried on to a whole bunch of other games, and it really should have. It really had so many good things to it. I would have liked to see it elsewhere, if it was understood a little bit more. Alright, so, grinding. Okay, so, if you want to learn anything in this game, there is an RNG chance that you will spark an ability, or you'll learn magic, or you'll learn a gun attack, or things like that. That becomes frustrating if you've got a type of strategy that you want to go with in mind. You can't rely on it. You really can't rely on it. And it's really frustrating. For your characters to gain HP, which is one of the most important things if you're not using robots and stuff like that, you have to grind. You have to kill enemies, and you have to hope that you gain HP. Majority of the time you do, but sometimes you don't. And if it's the only thing that's really hindering you, it's a big problem. For the monsters and things like that, you have to grind, and you have to hope that you get different abilities and stuff that you can use, so that you can put them in and transform into certain things and stuff like that. And like I said, before I go any further here, with the grinding here, the lower numbers obviously the worst. So you see those high numbers there. It's obviously not required. People speedrun this game, they can beat all the characters' scenarios in 6 hours. But what they're doing is they're basically manipulating what's available to them in the game, and they're using it perfectly before the battle ranking goes up at all. Which is another thing to talk about. Battle ranking in this game. The more you fight, the harder the enemies get. So if you've not progressed both in equipment and abilities up to that point to keep up with the new enemies that you're going to be going against, your stats that you gained from fighting all those enemies are not going to be enough. You really have to learn how to do combos and all that other type of stuff. And because of that, the grinding rating in this game, I'm going to give it like a 3. I'm going to say that you don't have to do it if you have an understanding of the game, but it's pretty much required for a person that's starting from scratch. Alright, so if we say that all together, I would say that this is going to be between like a 6 or a 7 for me. I really enjoyed the game, especially the first time I played it. Going through it this time, I was a little frustrated that I forgot as much of it that I did. If I would have remembered more, not only would I have beaten it quicker, I would have been able to show off a little bit more to you guys than I really got to. Instead, I kind of got stuck in these situations where I was trying to do things that I could definitely beat the bosses with. So I'm going to say I'm going to give it a 7. I enjoyed it more than I did Suikoden, believe it or not. And I really would have loved the game if it just had a little bit more time put into it. And so many of the quests and character scenarios and everything else were just developed one step further than what they were. But overall, it's a really solid game that keeps you wanting to play and keeps you wanting to learn more and experiencing the other character and seeing what you can do next. And that's really big for a lot of people nowadays, especially for people that like Western RPGs, where the world's more open and getting to do what you want. It did a really good job at that. You just have to look for it. So that's all for me in this regard then, other than saying would I replay it? I already have. It definitely has a lot of replay value, but I think after beating the game twice at this point, I probably won't play SaGa Frontier again. It's a little frustrating to start a new character again and then lose everything that you did on the prior one. Now, would I potentially just replay one character and over again that I enjoy? Yes. So, I'm going to say yes. It's got some replay value to it. And it definitely has replay value to anyone that has not beaten it before. Alright. Now, this is where you guys are going to rate this for me. I tend to try and do an average or take the most voted, but we'll see. And then after this, we will do the raffle. So I hope you guys are psyched for that. Have your games in mind. And get ready. Alright guys, be sure to vote. we'll let it go for a little bit. In the meantime, I'll set up my bot and stuff to get ready for the raffle. Alright. I don't normally get too many votes, but it looks like you guys are about between a 7 and an 8. So we're going to give it a 7.5. And thanks for that. Thanks for voting. I really like to gauge your guys' interest in the games that I play as well, especially those of you that kind of like sat here and watched the entire thing if you hadn't played it before. Alright. Well, I'll enter the time to beat and stuff like that later, but for now, we can switch this finally. Oops, I picked the wrong color. Alright. So, about to start the raffle here, guys. Everybody, just type in raffle. If you type in raffle, it'll enter you. So go ahead. If you want to enter the raffle, go ahead, type it in. Type in the word raffle. If you win, you get to pick the next game. I love the spam. Holy crap, McCurdy. Just so you know, the more you spam it, it does not increase your chances of winning. Alright, we'll let it go for a little bit yet. Make sure everybody gets in here that I see. DQ'd for trying to enter 10 times. Alright, guys. Deformed you're in too. Alright, looks like everybody's in that's here. Alright, guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good luck. Watashi! Congratulations! Will you make me suffer? I hope not. Well, there you go! You won something! You get to pick the next one we play. This music kills you now. It's pretty much, it is like a kid's show. There's a lot of games to pick from, Watashi, so take your time. In the meantime, I will start fixing this up a little bit. Alright, what was our grand total here? 48, 19, 26. God. More than the rest of our games combined. Not that we've beaten very many, obviously. And in the meantime, I can fix this stuff. Grand Stream SaGa, okay. Grand Stream SaGa? Alright. What's that? Picked by Watashi Machine. Yes, it's my first time played. I have never played it before. Alright. Well, there we go. We got our next game.